Hello, everyone. Welcome to Dad Life Chess. I am going to be recording another rapid game today on chess.com. Had a busy week last week, wasn't able to record. I was sick for a couple days, and then I had jury duty, actually. For those of you here in the States, you'll know about this. Thankfully, it was a short trial. We had 1 day of jury selection, 1 day of evidence and testimony, and then 1 day of jury deliberation. So it didn't involve too much time, just 3 days, and then I was able to get back into the schedule. But it did make for a busy work week, so wasn't able to record. Did have the chance to do more tactics last week than I have in a while, and I noticed a difference. Actually, I was playing some blitz a little bit after I had done some tactics, and it really does help a lot. Keeping you sharp. All right. So this is interesting with this advance option here against when they play against the London this way with c5 and d5. Generally, they're looking to push these pawns and try to get an attack here. I'm torn here. I don't necessarily mind if he takes with the knight. Just wondering if it's worth playing here, leaving his knight a little bit off sides. I don't even know what he would do. Maybe he'd back up the bishop. In that case, I would just take. I'm also noticing that this knight is undefended, so I'm wondering if I have some discoveries. Here, let's say takes, take, and I'm on the queen. I don't think there's anything there, though. I mean, he can just move. I take back. He takes. Yeah, nothing special, I don't think. So I'm going back to this option here, leaving open the option that discovery later. Yeah. So now I'm just going to take here, and I'm going to leave his knight over here for a move. Like I said, a little bit off sides, not where he'd prefer to be. All right, if he was already castled, I might take back here with the queen. This is one of those dirty blitz tricks. Often they miss the fact that there's mate on h7, but I'm not really looking to do that here. I was actually going to take with the bishop so that I could take c4 with my queen, but that's not an option anymore. So let's see. I can take, play bishop here. I could play knight c5. Maybe a4. Kind of like that move. I don't know if it's good. He can't do the usual defense here because after takes, his rook is loose on a8. I guess he can push. Probably should have calculated this. No, because I just take here. And I want his knight. Interesting. Was not expecting this. Now he can't move his knight. I'm threatening to take here. If he takes here, I take c4. No fear, huh? Just walking right into the pin. Wow. Okay, well, we got to play this. If he goes here, I think I even have f3. Another defender on this and threatening to take here. I don't want to take too much time here because I feel like I'm just looking here. Takes. Huh. I gotta move more quickly. I just don't. I think if I go here, knight takes. I guess I could just win the exchange. Maybe we should just do that. I was hoping to get pressure here, but I think knight takes here. Because he's even taking the queen with check. So I think if he takes here, I have to take back. He moves the queen. And then I win the rook on a8. Not even exchange, actually. I was thinking it was just an exchange, but it's not because he won't be able to get castled. Really low on time here, down 2 minutes. I got to play a little more quickly, but I'll look at this after the game. I feel like I may have missed something here, but I think what I was thinking initially is I just take. So takes, take, but I can't because this is takes with mate or with check, and then I have to bring the bishop back. Yeah, and in this situation, I'm not up anything, actually. This doesn't work. If he wants to defend the rook at all, he's got to back up in some way, but I think he's going to lose it either way. I think, yeah. So I think something like this makes more sense. Let's take that rook. We're in a castle. All right, up a piece, we're going to try to trade down here and see if we can get to winning endgame. We don't have pawn issues here, right? I'm down 1 pawn. It's doubled. Yeah, not a big deal. He can't really preserve this, I don't think. Oh, yeah, that works. Actually, I think I can play here. And win a pawn. And still trade down that piece, I think. He's going to get b2, but then I'm going to get a4. Doesn't want it. Okay. You might try to take here, little tricks. But if he tries that, I'm going to play c6, defend my bishop, and it's completely lost for him. Yeah. Gotta be careful here. Takes b2, d1. Okay, I'm kind of happy to see that. I actually thought taking there might have been a little more tricky there. Taking on b2, threatening my rook. And I think he wins another pawn there. And I didn't see immediate problems with check. I'll have to look at that later. Down to only a minute down on time, which is good. I played on my phone yesterday a 10-minute game, completely winning. I think it was yesterday, and lost on time. Got a nice little message from chess.com saying my final move did not make it to the server before the time ran out. So super frustrating. Take here, take with check. Okay. Let's pick up another pawn. Got to be careful. F2. He's still on F2. Don't want to have any issues with just losing track of that pawn and losing the game here. I think I have a chance to... No, I thought I can get to 1800, but it looks like it's only 6. 6 points if I win. All right, what about this? I think he has to take because I'm threatening discoveries. Oh, no. There's that mate I was talking about. See what I'm talking about? I'm doing it. I'm doing it here, and I just finished telling you that I wasn't going to do it. All right, I was 2 minutes down early. And now I'm only down 20 seconds or so. That's good. All right, he's threatening a check here, but nothing that I think I'm too concerned about. check. Just drop down to E1. I'm also on the pawn here. I kind of want to get my rook off of this file so that I have some checks, which I think will benefit me here. I also kind of want to give some room to my my king, so I don't have to worry about back rank stuff. All right, check. Check. Mate, right? What am I missing? Can block. And then mate. Mate on F6. I think that's it. That's all my opponent has. There's a quote for you. A rotating wheel does not rust. Hey, there you go. My opponent wants a rematch. Just going to tell him good game. And I'm going to review this really quick. Before we jump into the lines or evaluation, let me just go back through this really quick. He's asking me for a rematch again. Hopefully he doesn't think I'm being rude. I'm just trying to review the game, but that's fine. All right, so I think here... I think all this is pretty normal. I even think I've seen this move before. If I'm playing Blitz, I almost always will just leave the bishop. I probably would play Queen E2. It's, I'm sure not better, but in Blitz, I just find that an open H file or A file is more than worth the exchange in most games. So I generally don't care. I probably would have just left it, but I think it is better to play this move. And it's because of what I described in the game. If he does what he does and did in the game and trades off these bishops, his knight is just here. Obviously, there's sometimes where there's even discoveries, but if nothing else, you have to waste a move getting it back to a useful square. My opponent didn't take here because I think that can get pretty messy. Yeah, already we're looking at some difficulties here with this knight. So he defends the pawn. I'll have to look at this. This is probably the first move I want to look at and just see if I was right. My instincts were right here. I think this was the right move. And I think my opponent's first big mistake was here. I don't know. It's possible it could have even been a mouse slip, but I feel like pinning his queen was just not a good move. So even just playing the bishop here, which is a more natural move. Maybe he was worried about this. But I don't think you have to be. I think you can play even knight back if you need to and trade off those bishops here. The knight is running out of good squares to go to, so maybe he was just concerned about that. I don't know. But I would guess the queen move here is probably a mistake. And then here I was down 2 minutes on the clock. Actually, it looks like a little more than 2 minutes. So this is probably one of the key points in the game. I probably should have taken more time on this. I just didn't want to get back further, and I felt like the pressure was worth it here. And I was calculating some lines here where I thought I could take, but because this comes with a check, I'm not able to win that rook. So I end up with basically just a couple exchanges, nothing that great. So I'll look at that line. I think what I did in the game is probably what needed to be done. Take the piece since he's not castled. So I'll look at that exchange and just see if I missed anything there. At this point here, I'm basically just looking to exchange. I'm up the whole piece. There's really no reason. I almost just took here, but it does repair his structure, and the 3-on-2 here with these pawns advanced can be a little bit annoying. So I think what I played in the game was probably better. Winning a pawn. There was no real threat here because, as I said in the game, I just moved my queen actually to defense of the bishop, and everything's good. Yeah, up a piece here. I won't take too much time. I'll look at the analysis and see if there's anything major that I missed, but I just ended up picking up a few extra pawns, and I just had to keep an eye on check, which I mentioned on the video, and then almost played a move that would have lost the game instantly. So you can tell I've done that before, right? So nothing huge there at the end game. I'll look at some if there's anything that jumps out, but mainly I want to look at those other two positions earlier in the game. So let's do that. All right, so let's go through this. Ah, miss. Okay, so let's see. Best move is bishop a4. Yeah, I know we can do this sometimes. Let's just play through this really quick. I know this is in the London is a definite option. I would assume, yep, bishop b7. Knight x c4. What is this line? Wow. I've never seen this before. Okay, first off, why can't he just take here? d5, ex, queen takes, and I'm on both this and the knight. Wow, that is a very interesting line. I don't think I've ever seen that played. I've looked at a lot of London games, and that little exchange there, or that sacrifice on c4, is not one that I've seen before. That's really interesting. So this, they're actually saying, according to what I saw right before I checked that line, knight takes g3 is the best move. But you take here with check. Queen takes. Interesting. So it's a pawn. I mean, it's not... I don't know. It doesn't seem that much better, but plus 1.7, almost plus 2. Castle's queenside, and the rest of this probably would be pretty normal, but that's something I'll definitely keep in mind, because I think actually in this case it's probably the only option is to take here on the bishop. I wonder if this construction happens in other... I imagine it does. I imagine this can happen even without the knight here. So let me just go back here. Let's say instead of playing knight here, it would have to be something other than this. So let's just do a wasted move. Let's just do something like this. Why doesn't it work here? Bishop b7. Of course, because the bishop is there. So, and then here it's not working, obviously, because you have this, or at least you have the potential for that. So probably it doesn't happen very often. I can't think of other lines where my bishop would be on this diagonal without, and beyond the queen. Why does the knight have to be there on h5 for this to work? So let's look at this again. Oh, bishop b7. Because after takes, his knight is hanging. That's why. So the knight being on the h-file is what leaves it loose for the rook. I was thinking it actually was a discovery, possibly with this knight moving to e5. But even before moving it, the queen, with the queen discovery from the queen attacking the knight, it's already going to be loose with the rook there on h-file. So yeah, interesting. I'll have to remember that. I don't think I've seen that before. Definitely didn't see it in the game. I just played here. We traded. And it looks like I missed the same move. Or they want me to play the same move. Bishop a4. Takes. And then we have the same issue. Queen is still on the knight. So yeah, I just need to keep this in mind then. Actually, this move is really not great unless you can force the bishops off the board, which looks like that's why it was a questionable move for my opponent. I didn't see it. Traded here. Yeah, of course they still want the same thing because the knight is still loose. He brings it back. That move is no longer possible, so we have this position here. Knight a5. Interesting. Defends that pawn. All right, inaccuracy. I wondered about this move, a4. Looks like the best move. Wait a second. Yeah, a4 is the best move. Sometimes the analysis on these is really strange. It's showing as the first move, the engine here. A4. Knight takes f6 as a second option, and then castles. But I remember this from before when I used to do these games a year ago. Every once in a while, chess.com's engine analysis is kind of strange, where you'll get to this position and it will call it an accuracy after that was the top move, which is what's showing here, a4. I'll have to look at that later and see if there's something. Maybe I'll check Lichess or something and see if I'm missing something here. Yeah, inaccuracy, I mentioned this. Pinning your queen doesn't seem like a strong move. Good. Yeah. So bishop takes, which is the first move that I was thinking about, is plus 1.6. And simply taking back the knight, obviously, is plus 7 already at this point because the rook is falling. All right, I'll go through the rest of this game quickly. As I mentioned, I don't think there's a lot to look at. All this is good. Wow, both my opponent and I are playing, I think it's probably because it's a pretty straightforward game at this point. It's lost, obviously, straightforward loss, but everything else here is pretty straightforward and nothing much to look at. Nice win at the end. Overall, pretty happy with the play. I guess the opening line, I'll just have to pay attention to that move, that knight move in the future. And even without moving my bishop at all, if there's that same construction with the, let me find it again. Yeah, with the knight on c6 here. I might even screenshot this just as a reminder for myself, but this is a pretty interesting position to think through. And even with those options of sacking the knight on c4, that's very interesting. So that was something I learned. I don't think I had seen that before. I was very familiar from Chessable courses that I've taken. I'm familiar with the bishop out to a4 line pinning this. You sometimes will bring in the knight, obviously, to put pressure here. But I don't think I've ever seen the sack on c4. So that's new for me. And then, so I'll pay attention to that and look for those positions in the future. Overall, I'm pretty happy with the play. Let's see what the actual analysis is here on the review. 84.8% accuracy at 3 misses, all related to the same move. All 3 of those misses are the bishop a4 that I missed. No mistakes and 1 inaccuracy. So overall, pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that play, and definitely learned something as well in an opening that I play a lot. So that's always useful. Thanks for watching, and I'll try to post this. And if you have any questions or any comments on something that maybe I missed, let me know in the comments. Thanks.